So you're thinking about moving to North Carolina. It's a great state with a lot to offer, like the Blue Ridge Mountains, the Outer Banks Islands, and some awesome art, music and sports teams. North Carolina could be a great place for you to live. But before you go, you've got to know, just how much is all that living going to cost? Let's look at the true cost of living in North Carolina. We'll walk you through how much you can expect to pay for things like housing, utilities, transportation, or even just a haircut. What's the average cost of living in North Carolina? The cost of living in North Carolina is about 4% lower than in the average US city. So North Carolina is sort of like a Goldilocks state. It isn't too expensive or too cheap to live here. If you currently live someplace expensive, you can expect to save a little money by moving to North Carolina. But if you already live someplace really cheap, your cost of living will likely go up in North Carolina. How do we know? We look at a cost of living index that compares 9 cities in North Carolina with hundreds of other cities around the country. On the index, the number 100 represents the national average cost of living. Anything below 100 means North Carolina is cheaper than average in that category. Anything above 100 means North Carolina is more expensive. Makes sense? Let's take a look. Housing, 91. Utilities, 94. Groceries, 100. Transportation, 97. Healthcare, 112. Miscellaneous, 98. Total, 96 out of 100. Let's dig into each category and find out. Housing cost. Good news for renters. The median monthly rent for a 2-bedroom apartment in North Carolina is $1,137. That's 11% lower than the national median of $1,286. Sometimes renting has benefits. And North Carolina has some amazing places to live. And in early 2022, the median price of a single-family home was $369,500. That's 1% lower than the national median price of $375,000. But remember, housing prices vary depending on where you go in the state. You could enjoy low housing prices if you move to a smaller city like Greenville, where a home costs around $252,000 and an apartment costs about $875 a month. But move to the mountains, the beach, or a big metro area like Raleigh, and you'll see way higher housing prices. What to do about housing costs? When you move, you'll have to decide if you should rent or buy. But whichever you choose, you should always stick to the 25% rule. We teach people to spend 25% or less of their take-home pay on housing, and that includes insurance, WA fees, and property taxes. That may sound extreme, but there's a reason behind it. If you overspend on housing, you won't have anything left to live on. But the 25% rule helps you make sure you have enough money left each month to cover emergencies, pay off debt, save for retirement, and enjoy your new city. Utilities. North Carolina's got hot, humid summers if you live in the Piedmont region or on the beach, and cold, snowy winters in the mountains. So you'll either be cranking up the AC or dialing up the heat. Fortunately, you'll pay almost 6% less for utilities here than in the average US city. Of course, like housing prices, utility prices vary based on where you live. Utilities cost nearly 8% more than the national average in Kill Devil Hills. But utilities cost 10% less than average in Durham Chapel Hill. Healthcare. North Carolina is known for fantastic healthcare systems and tons of medical and pharmaceutical companies. But how do the state's healthcare costs compare to the rest of the country? They're 12% higher. You'll get the cheapest healthcare in Raleigh, at around 3% below the national average. The most expensive healthcare is in Thomasville, Lexington, which is 21% higher than average. Taxes. This cost of living in North Carolina isn't fun. Actually, it isn't fun anywhere, which might be why people forget that taxes affect their cost of living when they move to a new state. North Carolina is one of only 11 states with a flat income tax rate. That means everyone gets taxed the same percentage of their income, no matter how much or how little money they make. In North Carolina, the 2022 state income tax rate is 4.99%. And good news, the state is working on lowering that rate to 3.99% by 2027. Of course, you've also got sales tax and local tax to think about too. North Carolina has a fairly low sales tax at 4.75%. The average local tax rate is 2.23%. But remember, not every city has local taxes. You can talk to your real estate agent to find out what the taxes are like in the specific area where you're looking to buy. How much money do you need to live comfortably in North Carolina? The median income in North Carolina is $54,600.33, but we'll be honest with you. Living comfortably isn't just about how much money you make. It's about what you do with that money. Wherever you live, you have to take charge of your money and tell it where to go, instead of wondering where it went. When you stick to a written budget, you may find that you can actually afford to live in a more expensive city if you lower some other costs. Or you may realize that you need to look for a place with a lower cost of living so you can reach your financial goals. North Carolina's lowest cost of living by county. If you're looking for some of the most affordable places to live in North Carolina, you may want to check out some of these counties: Graham County, Caswell County, Duplin County, Montgomery County, Sampson County. Now, living in these places might put you farther away from big cities and all the cool things they have to offer. But living in a smaller, more affordable town can also put you closer to your money goals.